It's all come down to this. It's game day in San Antonio. We'll have a little preview of tonight's national championship game.
Plus, the calm before the storm. Weather-wise, we are bracing for a crazy 36 hours. That includes a wintry mix and the potential for severe storms. Paul Gross is tracking it all for us.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Topping our news this noon, the countdown to tip-off down in San Antonio, Texas. The Wildcats of Villanova versus our Michigan Wolverines. It's tonight, fighting for the NCAA National Championship title. One more win and it's yours. And as you can see, fans are already lining up really early in Ann Arbor to celebrate. That was the line not too long ago outside of Charlie's Bar. The line was wrapped around the block at one point. Folks were just let in at the bar at noon to prepare to wait for a little over 9 hours until the game actually starts. Our Jamie Edmonds is in San Antonio for the big game. Here's a look at what's happening down there today. Jamie?
So game day is here. This journey began for the Wolverines in the summer. Some say even before that, when they lost in Kansas City. They put in so much work to get to this point. Yesterday, John Beilein said sometimes not the best team wins this tournament. You have to be lucky. You have to get some ball bounces. The Wolverines have gotten that. Of course, Jordan Poole's shot to end the game against Houston. Mo Wagner was absolutely amazing in the last game, and it all comes down to this. Beilein has been here in the tournament 12 times, 3 different schools. He's never won it. I ran into his high school friend here in San Antonio, and he says this is Beilein's year. He seems like such a nice man. Tell us something we don't know.
What you see is what you get. John is really a great person, and been a true friend to us. We've been with him for 40 years coaching.
Don't you think that he can do it this time? Get over that hump? Villanova's tough.
Villanova's tough, but I saw Michigan pound Texas A&M. If they can make their shots like that, they'll win. They'll beat anyone.
Yes, the Wolverines will have to have their best game. They have to play the best team in this tournament with the most efficient offense, but the Wolverines have the best defense. Tonight is going to be an absolutely fabulous game, and we will be here right on Local 4 in the 4 and the 5 and the 6 with some great content getting you ready for tonight's game. In San Antonio, Jamie Edmonds, Local 4.
And we are fired up here in Metro Detroit, and yes, if they can combine that great defense and that Texas A&M offense that was just perfect, raining three-pointers, I don't see how we can lose tonight. So the University of Michigan's athletic department is hosting a watch party. So if you weren't in line to get into that bar, you can watch it at the Chrysler Arena tonight. Now, there are some stipulations. The party is free for all the students that have a valid M card and also for season ticket holders, but that's it. The general public can claim 4 tickets per account. Seating will be on the first come, first served basis, and concessions and the M&M stores will be open, and there will be special buses available for students before and after the game as well. Doors will open at the Chrysler Center at 8 p.m. tonight for that national title game that kicks off, or tips off, I should say, at 9:20 p.m. And with all the excitement building up, the Ann Arbor Police Department is issuing a warning to fans who may get a little too excited during tonight's big game. The police posted on Twitter last night saying involvement in certain activities would result in a timeout and a free tour of their holding cells. They are trying to get fans to refrain from climbing poles and buildings and damaging property and lighting any fires and putting anyone's safety at risk. But their message is clear: celebrate, just do it responsibly and go blue. And as Jamie told us, stick around with Local 4 all day long. She'll have live coverage, awesome live reports from San Antonio during our newscast, and also on our website at clickondetroit.com as we gear up for the big game tonight. Meanwhile, we have some breaking news out of South Africa this noon, where anti-apartheid icon Winnie Madikizela Mandela has passed away after a long illness. Much of the world got to know her as Winnie Mandela, wife of the towering apartheid opponent Nelson Mandela, who was in prison for most of the years of their marriage. The two divorced after he was released from prison. While she often lived in his shadow, Winnie Mandela is revered for her many years of fighting the apartheid system. She was 81 years old. New at noon, 18-year-old Hadi Sherry has been charged after forcing a 13-year-old girl to send him nude photos on Snapchat. The two met on social media and began communicating on Snapchat. Sherry began asking her for nude photos, claiming that he already had one and would expose her if she didn't send more. She gave in under the pressure, and he continued to threaten her for more pictures. Sherry has been arraigned on charges including extortion, and he'll be back in court on Friday of this week. Meanwhile, take a look at this as we turn our attention to the forecast. Now, we are expecting a weather roller coaster, but not quite like this. This is New Haven, Connecticut. The East Coast is getting early spring toast of snow. A little more snow for that state this morning. Snow began falling across the state overnight, leading to dozens of school closings. That's just how much snow. Total is expected to reach around 6 inches in parts of the state. I saw snow in New York as well, Paul. Now, you say a wintry mix around here, but nothing that we're going to have to shovel, right?
Well, we're not going to have to do any shoveling around here. Up north, they will. And by the way, the Yankees home opener was canceled today, or postponed technically, due to the snow. We actually had that happen to us in the early 80s. We actually snowed out our entire opening series with the Blue Jays that year. All right, temperatures right now. Well, look at this. Ferndale, you're at 40 degrees right now. City Airport in Detroit's at 35, 38 in Sterling Heights. West Bloomfield, you're at 37. So that's our metro zone. Let's go down to the south zone. Monroe, you're at 36. We have 35 at Lambertville, 35 also at Manchester. Saline, you're at 34. And we get into our west zone here, 37 at Ipsy, 35 in Milford, 36 in Brighton. And into our north zone, only 31 right now in Sandusky. Sorry, we're trying to get you a little warmer there, but 35 in K-Pac, 34 right now over in Oxford. So you can see the nice little hole over us. So that's all the sunshine, but this cloud cover is going to increase during the afternoon. And so you'll notice that especially by mid to late afternoon with a high in the low 40s around. A lot to talk about with tomorrow. It's going to be a crazy day. We'll do that in just a little bit.
All right, we'll check back in with you a little bit later. Meanwhile, time now for a developing story. Thousands of public school teachers across Oklahoma stayed out of the classroom this morning and took to the streets after they rejected a pay raise they said fails to compensate for some of the lowest educators' salaries in the country. Blake McCoy is in Oklahoma City with a look at how educators in the state are following in the footsteps of teachers in West Virginia and Arizona.
Well, here in Oklahoma, schools are closed today in anticipation of this teacher walkout. It could be the largest demonstration ever here at Oklahoma's state capitol. A teacher rebellion marches on, rallying at the state capitol for increased school funding and better pay. Lawmakers tried to stave off a walkout last week, passing a $6,100 salary increase, the largest in state history. But teachers say it's not enough.
I'm not walking out on my children or my students. I'm walking out for my students.
Educators say problems in Oklahoma extend far beyond salaries, pointing to overcrowded classrooms, outdated textbooks, equipment in disrepair.
Our buildings are falling down. It's because my classroom tables have been welded back together 3 times in the past 24 months.
We need the legislature to keep working. They need to fully fund our classrooms.
Oklahoma consistently ranks near the bottom, 47th in per pupil spending, $3,000 below the national average. Other states like Arizona and Kentucky have seen rallies and walkouts as well. Inspired by West Virginia, where nearly 2 weeks on the picket lines resulted in a 5% pay raise. Teachers fed up and demanding more.
I want my students to feel that they are getting what they deserve out of the classroom and that we don't have to stay out long.
Also breaking today, schools across Kentucky are closed as well after teachers walked out there over a pension dispute. It's unclear how long both of these walkouts will last. Blake McCoy, NBC News, Oklahoma City.
A trade war could be looming now that China has announced tariffs of their own on selected American-made goods. China has slapped about $3 billion in tariffs on American fruit, nuts, pork, steel pipes, and recycled aluminum. The move is in response to the tariffs on Chinese steel and aluminum products by the president. The trade tensions could heat up as President Trump is reportedly prepared to impose up to $50 billion in tariffs on additional Chinese goods. The White House says that President Trump will host Japan's prime minister for a series of meetings later this month. The president will host Prime Minister Shinzo Abe at Mar-a-Lago down in Florida at his resort there on April 17th and 18th. The two leaders are expected to discuss trade issues and President Trump's upcoming planned meeting with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. And while many governments around the world are condemning Russia over the poisoning of former Russian spy in Britain, President Trump is inviting Russia's president to visit the White House. The White House says that President Trump extended the invitation in a phone call last month when he congratulated President Putin for winning the re-election there in Russia. As of now, no date has been set for this meeting, with the White House as one of several possible locations. And President Trump is again demanding a wall on the Mexican border, citing the DACA Act in his argument. In a weekend Twitter message, the president said that DACA is dead because Democrats don't care or act, and now everyone wants to get into the DACA bandwagon. No longer works, must build wall. On Sunday in Florida, the president said that DACA is attracting new streams of illegal immigrants.
Mexico has got to help us at the border. And a lot of people are coming in because they want to take advantage of DACA. And we're going to have to really see.
Well, the president's comments conflict actually with the DACA law. DACA only applies to those children brought to the United States before 2007. DACA has no impact on anyone coming into the United States today. And still to come here on your Monday, comedian Bill Cosby is back in a suburban Philadelphia courtroom today. A look at what is happening in his retrial on sexual assault charges. Plus, Israel reacts to criticism of its military after the deadliest single day in Gaza since 2014. Welcome back, everybody. In a Local 4 update, the 8-ton out-of-control Chinese space station finally fell back to Earth. When it was all said and done, though, the station mostly burned up during re-entry. The bits that did survive landed in the middle of the South Pacific Ocean, just off the coast of Tahiti, around 8:15 last night. Luckily, there was no air traffic in the area at the time, and it did not land anywhere remotely near Michigan, as experts had hypothesized. I think everybody was hoping to get a chunk of it, but then when you really think about that, that could have been dangerous.
Well, yeah, there are toxic pieces to that stuff.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to go near it if it did come down here. Thank goodness it didn't. Look at this. May, sun, and blue sky across the area this morning. It's been a beautiful morning, just cooler than we'd like it to be, but you know what? It's real pretty out there. And temperatures right now have made it into the 30s, so we've at least gotten out of those 20s we started the day with. Wind chills are negligible right now because the wind is very light, so that's good news. So here again is that satellite image, and with the radar superimposed on top, and here you see the snow that's moved off in New England, still snowing in Boston, but they canceled the Yankees opening day with the snow out there. And then take a look. We have the sunshine here, but you can already see the cloud cover back to the west starting to increase. And this doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but this is a developing area of low pressure, and it is going to develop and become quite a storm, not just for us, but for the whole Midwest. So let's show it to you here. So here comes the increasing cloudiness. This is 4 o'clock this afternoon, and the clouds will continue to kind of increase and thicken and lower. And by late tonight, moisture comes in. The model is still insisting we could have a wintry mix, rain and snow mix to start, maybe some snow at the very north edge, but even if we do get some of that wintry mix, I think there's going to be a quick enough changeover to rain during the morning hours that it's really not going to have a tremendous amount of impact from a winter standpoint. Now, this could change a bit, but look at the model here. There could be a break early afternoon for the Tiger game tomorrow. We'll have to see, but this warm front's the key for tomorrow. South of this warm front, it's going to get into the 50s. North, it'll be in the 30s to near 40. South of the warm front, it'll be more unstable, and that means we have a potential for some severe storms. And then once this thing goes by, we get a break. But then look what happens late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. We have some light snow that comes into the area. So let's talk about all the different things that are going to happen with this storm. First of all, the severe threat. Again, southern half of the area south of that warm front, a marginal risk right now for severe storms, a bigger risk as you head further south of the state. From a rainfall standpoint, this is a new model just in. Over an inch of rain, perhaps, for the southern and eastern part of the area, 3/4 of an inch further north and west. And then snowfall Well, for us, it's less than an inch, but look what's happening up north. That's 6 to 12 inches right there. So this is quite a storm for a very large piece of real estate. So the clouds will start increasing this afternoon, though. Nothing to worry about. 43 for the high. And here you go. Tomorrow, south of that warm front, 50s, much colder to the north with those evening storms, but rain during the day. And then below average wintry weather for the rest of the week, around the temps only in the 40s.
Oh, we missed that spring break vacation to Florida, Paul. Darn it. Still to come, if you love Justin Timberlake and we're a little slow to get those tickets for his concert tonight at Little Caesars Arena, you're in luck. We'll explain after the break. Well, welcome back, everybody. If you love Justin Timberlake, and man, does he put on a good concert, but you didn't get tickets to tonight's concert at Little Caesars Arena, well, I don't know how this happens, but you're in luck because more seats have just been made available.
That's right. Now, with stage construction currently underway, Justin Timberlake's production team has made additional seats available to meet fan demand. So that's the answer.
There you go. The show is tonight at 7. Tickets are on sale right now. You can head to clickondetroit.com for details on how they can be purchased. So good luck.
Yeah, if you don't want to watch a basketball game tonight, that's something,
little
an alternative
competition
activity.
If you're a Michigan fan. Thanks for being with us on Local 4 News at noon. We're back at 4, 5, and 6 with plenty of coverage ahead of tonight's game. Go Blue!
Go Blue!
Tonight at 10, Good Girls is all new. Then at 11, a local man's major mistake. Let a scammer take a major cut out of his wallet. Find out what he did wrong. Don't fall for this scam.